welcome back to the stream. Surprise! Uh, just a pop-up stream today. Want to do a flight in FS2020 in the old 787. I was really starting to get tired of not flying the 787 as much as I have, and I spent part of this afternoon shaking down the sim to see what was going on. There were some problems I ran into earlier with GSX not wanting to cooperate, but now we have the sim up, so I can get back into it. Give me a few moments to just make sure I have my other screen hooked up and charging, and we will depart. I think today's flight we're going to go from San Fran to LAX, and there's a little bit of backstory to the flight and getting back into the old sim in general. But for now, basically, I just wanted to hop into the old sim because I missed flying the 787, and I was also kind of curious about the difference in performance between the old sim and the new one. Kev, my friend, it is such a blessing to have you aboard. Welcome in, buddy. Grab a seat in first class. There's still plenty of them to go around. I actually don't even know what the flight loadout is going to be for today. So let me actually do this. Let me hit the GSX button and reload SimBrief. There we go. 260 passengers, fuel 22,142 pounds. So while they're boarding, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at some stuff. Give me a moment. I'm going to close some windows down and we will jump into this. But again, hello, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. And I'm just checking to make sure. Okay, it does look like we actually have volume. I'm going to increase my mic volume a touch. And I think I'm not going to go too far past the yellow line. It was quiet, I think, the last few streams. And also the in-sim volume was quiet as well. Let me just boost that. Okay, so I'm in the process of entering the flight plan for today's flight. We're going to be going from San Francisco to LAX. We're flying the 787. This is registration November 821 Alpha November. And let me take a look at the SimBrief bleeping. I've always been quiet mic-wise. Yes, yes, I have. I think this is probably a good place to be. I don't want to go too far into the yellow. I'll just talk a little louder, I guess. And sim volume, I think, is in a good place. But let me check. Let me check the briefing. Briefing cost index is going to be 34. Zero fuel weight for today's flight is set to 347.7. And I need to double check because I thought I put in the amount of fuel. Hold on. Isn't there a... Yes, there is actually. Performance, all this. Give me a bit. I thought there was a place you could actually just pull in SimBrief everything. But hang on. Performance, doors. Performance is there. I used to think... Oh, well, I used to think with a different aircraft when I used to have the heavy division 787-10 that I used to actually load everything in. I might actually be able to get away with doing weight and balance here like old times just to make sure everything is set. So fuel's going to be 22,100 pounds, but it's pounds. There we go. So give me 22.1. Okay, that's pretty close. That gives me a little bit of burden on the things. You should be living in yellow. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Okay. I based on my old streams, I used to be way up there. So this is probably going to be even louder, which I hope is the case. All right. Roughly the same for fuel and what about payload? Payload is 59,800 pounds. 59,800 pounds. This is about as close as I'm going to get, so I'm okay with that. And we do have fuel adjustments. We don't have any center fuel, just wingtip fuel. So if we have 22.4, that means we have an extra 0.3 on reserve. And the fuel for today is supposed to be 9,786 pounds for trip fuel, roughly 2,700 pounds of contingency for 15 minutes, roughly 4,200 pounds of alternate, and another 4,300 pounds of final reserve. So that's 27, 42, 43, 85 plus 27. It's like 107. No, wait, 85 plus 27. That's 112. 112. 115. So roughly 11,500 pounds of reserves. But if we're talking about actual beyond the thing, then we have like 0.3, which I don't think we're going to get anywhere close to because we have as much fuel as we have planned for the flight. Hello? Thank you. And thrust. Cell temp for today is going to be 57. That gives us optimal of 87.7% N1. Okay, okay. Let me do a little bit of adjustment of sounds as well. So we're really gonna bring the sim into the mix now. And I mean I'm still way above it, but this is literally so much louder than usual. You're definitely gonna hear ambient sounds. And I think, wait, 2.8 right. We're gonna want to do a full-on takeoff. I don't think we're gonna do derated. And flaps, we're gonna do flaps 5. CG is 6. CG is 6, and go to the next page. Winds. Surface winds at San Fran, we have winds 0703. So, runway wind complement is 2 knots. 2 knots, and outside temperature is 13. Okay, go back to the previous page, and now we can plug in those numbers. And estimated takeoff weight is going to be 368.7, 369 with the extra fuel. Okay, the takeoff speeds really haven't changed, that's fine. And let's just double check the legs for the departure. There's not much, which means I need to make sure everything is set. Taking off runway 28 right. Well, thank you. I might actually give that a serious consideration this year. I guess it depends on everything that's going on. But if we take off on 28 right, we're going to be taking the Westla 5 RNAV departure. Let me go find that. Oh, and don't forget, chat, AIRAC update week is this week, so get ready for it. So we have the departure, and eBay Burgle is going to be going into the Ironman 2 for 24 right, which is convenient. Very convenient. There it is, Ironman 2. ILS 24 right, and I think we're going to take the live-in transition, which means when I take a look at the ILS approach, we're probably going to be coming in to Livin. I can go as far back as Circus, but I mean that would be if I'm coming in from like, you know, flying southwest in from like Denver. But Livin is far out enough, and that's good. Actually, I'm curious about that now. Do we have anything? I don't know. I don't. Let me check. Oh, wait. Hold on. Settings, maybe. No, I'd probably have to play around with the equalizer or get an equalizer app on my desktop to figure that out. But let's see, Burgle. Gonna go straight to Iron Man, and then vectors. Vectors to Livin. Let's see. Let's see how we do. Let's see how we do. Book of Gaming, hello, my friend. I am dealing with life the best I can, brother. May the Lord bless you and watch over you and your family. I hope that you are feeling better and that you are on the way out of the illness that you and your family have been experiencing. God bless you and watch over you, my friend. I am getting ready for a flight from San Francisco to LA. We are on the ground in San Francisco and I'm getting ready to depart. I think we actually have everything that we need. So I'm just going to go straight to Livin from Gatto. And that should give us enough room. Go around altitude is going to be 2,000. And that's it. That's my flight. Okay, so 149 is the V2 speed, which you're going to see up top there. But we need some more lights because it's still bright, even real time right now in San Francisco. And let me go upstairs and just make sure everything is actually looking good. We have our IRS system aligned, and we have FD door power on. Turn on the window heats, and how are we doing otherwise? Battery power is high, and recirc fans are on. Turn the packs on, and the 787 does not require you to turn the packs off to be able to get the engines started, which is wonderful. And we are going to make the cabin nice and cold, because you know my motto on this channel, a cold passenger is a compliant passenger. But anyways, I mean, for real, like, you just like being cold on an airplane flight anyway. I know I do. So I think that's it. Let me just double check my settings. Yeah, we're ready to fire up the APU. I gotta get the emergency lights toggled, of course. They're armed. And window heat, electrics, and hydraulics. Passenger signs are auto. We're gonna turn them on once we get ready to taxi. And fuel pumps are pumping. Nav and logo lights are on. Recirc, temp, pack. And yeah, this thing automatically pressurizes, so we're good. Okay. The flight plan is set, and we have been boarded. We're good to go as of right now, and we've got live traffic. Oh, thanks, Kev. The interview went okay. As far as first round interviews go, it was a poker face fest. I mean, I didn't actually talk to anyone in a video call. It was just a phone call. But basically, it was just one of those 30-minute things where they go, okay, tell me about yourself, blah, 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 here's a job, blah, 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 blah. A few basic questions, and that was it. I'm waiting to see if they actually get in touch with me this week. I don't know if they will. I kind of hope so, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm certainly not worried about whether or not they think I'm okay. Like it used to be, oh, well, you know, I'm applying for this job. I hope you guys can give it to me. You know, I hope they like me. It's like, I can't do any more with that now. it is squarely in Yahweh's hands. So they need to be at least 2,000 feet or higher, and because there are no restrictions on the departure, and because there's no no departure altitude on the departure chart, we're going to go all the way up to 370. So 370 it is. And the magnetic deviation for 28 right is 284. That is the heading that I will be facing when I barrel down the runway on the way out of San Fran. So that's it. One flight only, one show only. Auto throttle on, flight directors to on, and we can add LNAV and VNAV on. And we're in America, so we have not hectopascals, but mercury inches. And let's do barrel minimums for the ILS approach into LA. That is going to be 322 feet. So give me a moment to put that in. I chuckle at this because it always makes me overshoot. You have to be really patient with it, otherwise it's going to go flying past the number that you want for barrel. Yeah, definitely get to know your car. For sure. So we have that. We have the fuel. We have... Doors will close shortly. AC, we're going to get nice and cold. Fuel is 22,300 pounds, basically 22.4. And I need to get the APU started. APU's coming on. Let's get the beacon light on. Very nice. I actually flew 787 over the weekend in X-Plane 12. I had an old model from X-Plane 10. I had a blast flying it. It was the graphics were dated, but I didn't care. It got the job done. So, APU is spinning up. APU should be available momentarily, and once that APU is available, we can get out of the way. Give me this. We're going to go 160-mile radius, and I hear it, and we are now on APU gen. Let's go ahead and push back facing what direction actually? I don't know. Tail facing south because we're going to be taking off 28 left, which means we're probably going to be taxiing out via Alpha Foxtrot 1 Foxtrot, crossing 28 left, and of course crossing 1 left and 1 right. So let's go ahead and call up GSX and get them to do their work, because it's a thing. Good afternoon to everybody. I hope you guys are having a good day today and a good start to your week. I am in the process of flying to LA in the flight sim. Conditions are dry as we get out of here. Thrust rating optimum, flap config 5, anti-ice config engine auto, and calc. So CG is 19, and again, the numbers are pretty close to what we have. We do have some traffic at SFO, which is good. I'm going to turn... Do I want to turn off multiplayer? I think I'm going to turn off multiplayer for this flight and keep live traffic on. I'll just have to remember to get this turned back on once I decide to fly. I'm usually on East USA if you guys want to find me. Oh, and I did do some work doing scenery dev earlier this afternoon at Lafayette Regional in Louisiana. I'm doing, like, the parking lot's basically drawn up. I just need to get the 3D structures in place. And I'm working on, like, the lines for the road and the shoulder lines, like the paints. And then I'm pretty pretty sure that, working on the terminal is not that far away. Okay. We're gonna do nose left, no, nose right, tail left. Yes. Okay, the clock is ticking. Let's go ahead and get underway. Give me engine number 2, please. The APU is running. I'm about 100% sure we do not need to get the backs turned off to start this engine. At least I don't remember that being a requirement for GEs, but let's go ahead and turn them off anyway. Yeah, we're on generators, so I'm not sure what's going on. Did I forget to do something? It has been a while since I flew this plane, but did I forget to do something? It's a little weird. No, I didn't stream. I was just doing some builds just to kind of get back in the flow of things. So, hang on. Yeah, the packs are definitely off. Not that they need to be. And... oh... duh. Wrong choice. Well, I mean, I flipped the switch. Just wasn't the right one. Shh, don't tell anyone. Alright. Oof, those G's sound great. Now, I turned off one of my IRSs. Hopefully turning off one doesn't work my my GPS, but I didn't see any notifications here. Man, well, I appreciate the mention, even if it was just a passing one. And it's not that I don't want to do scenery def for X-Plane. Like you and I have talked about this extensively. I do want to eventually get into X-Plane scenery def. It's just that it's a thing. It's gonna take me a bit. Even though, and I'm gonna say this, even though the kind of dev work that you can do in World Editor, it's like nice. It's not like in the sim at the same time, but I was doing World Editor stuff with X-Plane 12 running and reloading scenery, so that's not necessarily an issue. It was just that if they are all the right switch, are any of them the right switch? Oh, Senior Development Workshop. Give me a mo. The ILS is going to be 1085 at 251. 1085 at 251. There's the course heading. Turn the ILS stuff on. And are our friends done doing the thing? Where'd you go, friend? Alright, well, see ya. I'm usually pretty good about that, but I was just double checking myself. Backs left and right. Alright, back should be coming on now. I have like a few minutes to catch my breath here. And just check the MCP real quick. We have our final cruise altitude set, departure heading, V2 speed, LNAV and VNAV are armed, flight directors are on, auto throttles on, altimeter is set 3006. We have our barrel minimum set for our arrival. Let's do weather and traffic, and that's it. I think that's it. Let me just make sure we're okay. Yeah, I think so. So, all right. Flaps 5, please. And we have the trim set now. We had it set. And now I can do nose and taxi light on, wing light on. And that's to get the flight attendants to get the cabin prepped for departure. Just a mental thing. They don't actually do anything. It's just for kicks. And then I can actually release the parking brake and do a quick flight controls check real fast. Flight controls here. Alright, so full left, full right, full left again, full forward and full back, full left and full right rudder deflection, which ties into the tiller as well. And we're going to fire the speed brakes, stow them, and leave the ground spoilers armed. Not necessarily that you have to, but I am going to go ahead and put this auto brake to RTO. And where? Hang on a moment. Overhead panel, glare shield panel. Let's get the center stuff set. Hello? Give me a bit. Alright, well, I guess that'll do. Okay, we are going down the inner taxiway. We can turn to... Actually, we're on Alpha right now. Cool. So we actually are on Alpha. Foxtrot 1's coming up shortly, and we are saying bye-bye to San Fran. Kev, thanks for the lurk. Appreciate having you aboard. All right, Chad. Hope you got your fill of rice-a-roni, because we are flying out of Frisco. Okay, I can turn right here for Foxtrot 1. And I do not believe that we are going to have issues with traffic on the ones, because I don't think they're flying the ones today. Okay, so I can put the flight controls check away. I can go back to MD, and we can get the strobe light on as we cross. And I believe that's everything that we need. I don't think there's a yaw damper setting on this plane. I do not believe so. They're going to complain about cabin temp for a little bit. That's fine. Auto brake RTO. APU is running. It doesn't need to run anymore. We have the gens on. And seatbelts are on. Doors are set to auto. And that should be everything. Okay, so why am I in FS2020 and not FS2024? Well, for one, I'm flying the 787, which is not a plane that I have in FS2024. It just so happens that FS2024 lets me try flying the 787 that I have from this sim, but it is not officially sanctioned. So basically, the deal is it's just going to be allowed, but it's not going to work really well. Give me a bit, chat, to grab a blanket, BRB. Alright, Chad, I'm back just in time as we have crossed over both one left and one right. And we're going to take off 28 right, but we have to cross 28 left to do it. Got a little bit of time before that actually happens. We can probably go a little bit faster than 10 knots ground speed at this point. And since I'm lazy, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my landing lights, turn off my taxi light, just make sure the strobe light is on, and it is. And we have anti-ice auto, hydraulics auto, elec auto, engine hydraulics on, fuel's pumping. Yeah, I do believe we're set. All things considered, the aircraft's kind of light because we could be taking so much more fuel down to LA and we're not, so that's fine. I think we're going to be fine for VNAV departure, the flow. What's the departure going to look like out of here? Basically, we're hanging the left turn at Westla, and we're going to need to climb a lot to get out of here. But again, this is a 787, so we've got enough horsepower to do that. Don't know why my stream connection is unstable. My apologies for any stutters. Let me bring the sim volume down a touch. Actually, right about there should be fine. Or even better here. Yeah, there's fine. Okay, so cut forward power. We'll slow down a bit as we get ready for a turn. And I see nobody coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and clear myself to cross 28 left, and we'll take off 28 right momentarily. It's definitely been just a while since I actually came into FS2020 to do a flight in the 787, and I've uninstalled like all the world updates to install them in FS2024 to try to make the sim more stable, because otherwise I'd be basically virtually downloading everything. But otherwise the sim seems to be pretty good. Looks like that aircraft is still there, so I think what I might do is I might clear my checklist real fast, and there we go, before takeoff is set. So now we're fine. And what I'm probably going to do is cycle the online real world traffic, save it, and then get real world traffic plugged back in, which cleared the static or the parked aircraft that was there. I released the parking brakes, and then we're going to spool up to probably about 50%. And good, let's go. Takeoff power set. 120 knots. And rotate. There we are. Positive rake, gear up. Let's go flaps 1. All right. We're almost clean speed at this point. I am flying by hand. Good levels from the sim. And now I think we can go flaps up. Alright, that's good enough for me. Autopilot on. Nose light off. Then we do have some traffic, or did have some traffic. Wow, even the old school, world setup in here is beautiful. There's the airport, and Silicon Valley is like way in there somewhere. We're flying the Horizon Sim 787-900 with GE engines. There is a Rolls-Royce variant that I have installed, but I don't have an American livery for it. I don't know if I have a Delta. I think the liveries are mostly overseas, for overseas airlines. I think I have like one for TAP, and I forget what the other airline was. 10,000, actually we're 11,000 feet right now, so we're good. Landing lights off. And that's about it. I should be able to stow the... Okay, well, speed brake is where it is. That's fine. We're about 4,000 feet away from 18,000, which is transition. Then we go standard altitude pressure, which would be 2992 or 1013 QNH if you're overseas. Oh, man, it kind of feels nice to be back in the Horizon Sim again. Yeah, not for nothing. This is a nice way to be. And the graphics in FS2024 are, you can kind of tell there is a leap forward in terms of atmospheric effects, but having the old sim too is a very nice thing. It is definitely a very nice thing. So, okay, check my checklist real fast. Yeah, landing gears up, flaps are up. Okay, so that means the checklist is out of the way. And here we go, 18,000, standard set. Simple enough. And I think we were like, oh, there we go, 5 minutes up in the air, which means we were a little bit tardy on the departure rule, but I don't follow departure times that closely. If I do feel like I want to get back into doing, semi-serious flight simming again, then I think I'm going to get to a point where I am going to start looking back into that stuff. Um, Spoiler alert, that's probably not going to happen anytime soon because I want to, I think, get a few things done. One of which is going to be scenery development. I told you guys that I was trying to figure out how to, line up all my ducks in a row, as they say, so that I could actually get through and get set up to do stuff like scenery dev. So I did that. I've got about, a good, 3 weeks of research of like time and flows. So is what it is. Leftover coffee. Ah, fantastic. So happy when that happens. Sometimes I'll be working and I'll lock into to doing something and forget that I left my coffee kind of sitting on the desk, and then when I check back on it, 45, 50 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours later, it's like, oh, cold coffee, glug glug glug. And I think that's San Jose. Yeah, I'm happy. So we're cruising at flight level 370 today. I don't know how long we'll be at cruise. Let me check. Let me check the bigger map here. Okay, so roughly 240-ish nautical miles. No, is it? 80, 160, 240, 320. Yeah, so 160, actually 170 nautical miles until top of drop. So 40 minus 170, roughly 130 nautical mile cruise is basically what we're looking at today. Okay, I should be able to see traffic at 40. So I'm going to leave it there and leave that set for 320. Alright, so good enough. We're well on our way to cruise, and we are in FS2020. I am enjoying the sights and basically reminiscing on the experience of this sim. It's kind of hard to believe that this actually is roughly 5.5 years old, and there's so much that's been done to it. But FS 2024 has come up pretty quickly in the past year, in the past year and a half now going on. So there's things about it that I'm not a fan of. I mean, it is pushing my PC harder because I think there's less of a limit now on things that you can do in the new sim versus the old. And I think aircraft developers, scenery developers are, adding more things in with more VRAM, and the sim is leaning more towards using more VRAM in general. So that's why the frame rates are slower when I use it. But I just have to adjust my texture levels, which I have, and terrain level of detail and that's produced a smoother, stabler experience. All right, and let me go ahead and set myself up. I'm going to check levels and see what the sim sounds like from outside. Okay, so it's not that much of a difference, actually. All right, that's good. Let's check LA weather. LA weather right now, winds 260 at 8, visibility 10 statute miles. Clouds few at 180, few at 250, temperatures 21, and the altimeter is 29 or 9 or 8. So, okay. Um, Happy about that. We are not doing bad. All right. So, to my friends and to those lurking and to those watching the replay, feel free to, if and only if you are in a place where it is easy and desirable for you to do so, feel free to check out my tip page. I am trying to raise some funds right now to take care of the fam. And I don't know what the situation with the job interview is like or what it's going to produce over the next week. So I'm just looking to make sure I keep things taken care of, bills paid, and set up a little slush fund for taking Mrs. Digi out on like a drive and grabbing some burgers, stuff like that. If you feel so moved, feel free to drop me a tip of any size, and I would be very much grateful. I did have a friend offer some financial support for the Scenery Dev journey on Buy Me a Coffee. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/DIGI123, then you can also buy me a coffee there as well. And I will leave you the link if that is what your preferred method actually is. So let me go ahead and leave that for you guys to take a look at. I do try to keep the community up to date with regards to some stuff, but at the same time, I've just been quiet for a bit. I did post in like November, but I think I'd like to get back into a more consistent flow. Also, oh no, wait, I thought it was 32,000. That's actually 37. I forgot. 370 Dig. Okay, so let me check and do. Oh no, approach ref won't happen until I get close to descent or I start descending. So that's fine. We are 16 nautical miles away from Susi, and then eBay and Burgle. Then Iron Man is basically, I think, where we come into the Iron Man 2. And we will also be at descent at that point? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Or we will be soon. Yeah, there's actually not that much distance between us and Top Drop. but I will say that I missed having a smoother experience like this, and this is without all the world updates that are installed. Between you and me, I think I'm potentially going to reinstall some world updates for relevant flights, and maybe even reinstall the FS2 Crew add-on to fly the 737 again, and figure out whether or not it's going to be easy for me to fly the 737 that way, or if it's just easier for me to fly everything by myself, so I don't have to like worry about my chatting with a bot not being totally recognized. Because you saw some streams, I think, last year where I flew the 736, and I flew one day with Sane Tensions, FS2 Crew, and GSX, like all of them running at the same time, which made the experience just like immersive. So I might get back to that. I actually might get back to that. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Let me take a look at progress real fast. We're supposed to be the LAX at 2319. It's 2253 to top a drop, and it is 2240 right now. So about what, a half an hour? Weird. That's fast. We are 488 over the ground right now. We do have like a good chunky tailwind. So there we go. I can't complain. 488 on what seems to be an eco cruise right now. We're fine. I do not normally do streams during the week like this. I'm usually, wrapping up work and doing some stuff. I didn't have plans to do quiet streams this week for scenery development, but those quiet streams might actually keep me accountable and keep motivating me to keep working on the scenery dev for Lafayette. So stay tuned to the Discord for updates, because I might actually do that. I might actually go and broadcast those streams, even if I don't do them regularly. At my best, I was doing those streams, I think, 3 times a week, 3 to 4 times a week at night. But I've also got the video game project I'm working on. It's basically a platformer like Ninja Gaiden, but it's just for fun. And I've got some other IRL work-related things and projects that I'm working on. I still don't know if I'm going to be attending the dev conference that's going to be in Vegas later this year. So I'm kind of keeping my ears open to that. And if that happens, then I know there's going to be some things I'm going to be prioritizing, but not overriding everything. And again, like I said, my desire to attend FS Expo this year in Minneapolis, I'm on the fence, especially if I'm going to be traveling to Vegas this year. I don't know if I'm going to be in a place where I want to like also go to Minneapolis, but I might do some more local traveling. I'm hoping that Mrs. Digi and I are in a better place financially, so that we can do more day trips and enjoy time with family and friends. You all can be a part of the journey if you decide that you want to subscribe or cheer bits or donate. Again, as always, totally up to you. But I appreciate your support. Even if all you do is stop in and say hello, thank you. Even if you just lurk, thank you as well, because lurking helps the channel, I think. I think it brings attention to my particular channel and the flight sim community in general. But when I did the stream setup for today, I specifically chose the Microsoft Flight Simulator category instead of FS2024 because I wanted to be on brand, even though technically I think you can choose FS2024 at this point to stream and just indicate what sim you're using, and you're going to be okay. It's been a bit of a discussion in the past, but I'm not worried about that right now. Yeah, I could definitely see the difference in terms of performance. I think there are some limitations in VRAM usage in this sim that do not exist in the new one. Now, this is kind of like maxing out based on my particular settings, but VRAM is just a little bit over the halfway mark. Theoretically, I could turn on lossless scaling. Actually, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun with that. If we CTD, we CTD, but I want to see what lossless scaling does because I actually haven't used it in a long time. Let's see if lossless scaling actually smooths out the experience as much as I used to think it did. Okay, let me fire it up now. I'm going to do LSFG 1.1, LS1, and just for the sake of testing smoothness. Seems smoother. Top of drop at about 50 nautical miles. So let's get the approach performance set. We will do flaps 30. So we'll end with 145 RF speed, which is not bad. Actually, you know what? Let's do flaps 25 so we land 150. And we will auto brake 4, but not max. The core setting for the runway is going to be 251. Core setting's already set in the computer, but I'm syncing that with the heading. And the approach, the final approach fix before the beam is 2200. And there we go. And it is 2000 for the go around. So you know what? We'll set the go around altitude and basically let the computer handle the approach. That's good. Nice. Top of drop's coming up very shortly. And what is the pressure for LA again? 299 or 8. Okay, that's set. Okay, I think we're locked in. crazy that we've been flying 25 minutes and we're literally about to come into top of drop. Also thoroughly pleased by the feasibility of this sim even now with FS2024 on my computer as well. I have both sims because I'm doing scenery dev in FS2020. I would have been tempted to uninstall FS2020 if I wasn't doing scenery dev, but I'm actually glad I kept it to be able to fly the 787 because, again, I don't have it in the new sim. And honestly, right now, that's fine. I paid $70 for standard edition when it released in November of 2024, and I'm pleased. Let's see. All right, so TOD's coming. Got some traffic coming in. That's cool. Who is it? Probably another Delta. Don't know why, but the FSLTL model data that I have doesn't appear to be very good right now. But again, I haven't done much with it. Do I not have the FSLTL stuff installed? Oh, that makes perfect sense now because when I removed a whole bunch of stuff, I'm pretty sure I actually got rid of the model matching. So it's model matching based off of my actual my actual models. That's why I've seen a whole bunch of 787s in flight today. That's fine. That's fine. We are coming up on top of drop right now, I think. 2 nautical miles. We should see the PFD show. There we go. Going down. Okay, checklist time. Recall checked. Auto brake 4. Landing data. Landing flaps 25. VREF is going to be 150. Approach briefing. We are coming in on the Ironman 2, and we're going to be taking the ILS runway 24 right approach, hooking in at Livin. We have the ILS frequency and course heading set and synced to the heading bug. So, approach briefing, good. At least my simplified version of it. There's a lot that I can be talking about. It's not correct by any means, but we also have the altimeters set to local pressure, and we'll double check them again before we actually get lined up. And just like that, we have been flying 30 minutes and we're already on the way down into LA. So, pretty fast flight. if I keep doing this if I keep flying in FS2020, I'm gonna try to fly the A310 using the checklists and have it give me an accelerated experience learning how to fly that plane because I would like to fly the A310. It was an interesting plane to fly, like a stubby wide body that's you know beefy. Also sounds great too. Free plane. I mean, I'll take that. I forget if that was a part of the 40th anniversary release, but I'm grateful that AnyBuilds actually released that to us for free. Definitely they did us a solid with that one. Or at least, again, free plane, so I'm not going to complain right now. Or, I'll just take it and run with it. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. We're tailing somebody else in. Yeah, so today's going to be basically the 787 show, I think, at LA because we are not using model matching. I'm going to have to find, I think I'm going to have to find the old download that I had for model matching to be able to just unpack it and drop it in. And let me see if it's actually, oh wow, some old stuff. And nope, liveries, not dev. AIG AI Manager, amazingly enough. Rex AccuSeason, just looking through some files right now. I don't have it? That's a little weird. Yeah, I guess I don't. What I should probably be able to do is to just grab the FSLTL stuff in the community folder for FS2024 and just drop it back into FS2020. AI traffic, OCI beta. How many files were in that folder? Oh yeah, that looks about right. It's about 40 plus gigs worth of model matching. 41.2 to be precise. So I'll probably copy that over tonight or after I'm done with the sim. And yeah, I'll take it. Also, do I have the 737-600 still installed in here? Yes, I do. I do. So, in theory, I could reinstall FS2 Crew and fly the 737 with assistance. The only thing I don't like about it, again, is how it sometimes just does not listen to me when we're doing flights because I like having flows and I like having somebody, even if it's a digital FO to keep me going, but when I don't have the ability to go through my flows quickly enough, it just kind of turns into something else. Like, if the AI is not going to work as well for me as I'd like it to, then there's no point in me actually having it. That's my point of view. Okay, leaving flight level 220, which means flight level 180 is less than 4,000 nautical miles. Excuse me, 4,000 feet to go. Closer to 3,000 at this point. Yeah, all things considered, I'm really pleased by how this flight's gone. I mean, lossless scaling isn't going to drum up more frames for me to make 15 frame per second approach into LAX 45, but it is going to, I think, make 30 frames per second potentially feel closer to 40. We passed the other plane. All right, so we're coming into LA. We are definitely stepping on it. Well, descent wise, we're still, I think, over 360 knots over the ground. Yeah. But again, I'm blessed to be able to have my choice of sims. I can fly FS2020, I can fly FS2024, I can fly X-Plane 12. And X-Plane 12 is a hoot. I flew this weekend from Philly to Orlando, and some of the views, when I looked out the window, they were kind of amazing because when we were taxiing into the terminal at MCO, and I looked out the passenger window, it looked almost exactly like it would in terms of like the sky and humidity and stuff like that. Not that it's very humid right now for January, but haziness is hit and miss. But regardless of that, the way things looked kind of made me do a double take. I was thoroughly impressed. I really was impressed. 16,000 feet, but I'm going to turn on landing lights right now so I don't forget. And let me adjust myself here a little bit. I forgot how you could actually adjust your camera height when you were doing the things, but whatever. I'm not worried. I like having this display up because it's techie and I'm a nerd. Our arrival, I'm on my way in from Iron Man to Simon. We've actually been on the Iron Man arrival for the past like 5 waypoints. We're on our way down to 12,000 feet and to a 250 knot restriction. Yeah, I'm a nerd too. Pleased to meet you. So, pretty sure we're going to be flying over Santa Monica or Santa Barbara. No, Santa Monica. And we'll be hooking a left and then a long right some like 5 minutes later. Do have some traffic. But thanks for coming back from Lurk, Kev. Hopefully you're doing okay. Yeah, man, back to work for me tomorrow, so I'm going to be doing the usual. Whether or not that means I'm going to be doing sim flights at night, I don't know. Sometimes I sneak them in for funsies. I might even do some stuff on VATSIM, but I also usually like being as flexible with like my seat time as possible. So we'll see. It depends. I'm just like I said, I'm feeling my way through the year, and so far I've gotten some really favorable results out of it in terms of understanding what my motivations are or what I'm trying to accomplish, what some things are that I should be focused on, so that I can do better. Yeah, man. Welcome to the valley. Whew, there is so much developed city out here. It's crazy. And they can just make out downtown LA out here. And another plane coming in. And again, because I don't have model matching, everything's going to look like a 787 today. I think. I might be coming in following some traffic. Or I could just go beep beep and fly right over them, which is what I'm going to do. Yes, I see the traffic acknowledged. No, not on VATSIM right now, but again, I do still like the network. I still want to get on it. So yeah, there we go. I think we are looking at downtown LA here. And I think there, somewhere out there, I think that's Ontario International. I think. No, actually, I don't think that's downtown LA. I think downtown LA is like further out here or here. Yeah. Digi geography, I'm working on it. 238. I think we're busting some speed limits here, but I don't care. I'm having a good time. I do need to be 210 knots very soon, so I'm going to switch. First thing I'm going to do is switch to the ILS picture and get myself ready. Digiography. Somehow Darth Vader came in my mind. I find your lack of Vatsum disturbing. I do not hate Vatsum. I I figure if I'm gonna hop on VATSIM, I want to make sure I'm available. I do not want to keep flying into and out of radio comms and be like stepping away for 5 minutes, stepping away for 2 minutes, stepping away for 3 minutes. I want to lock in. You will see that at some point, like I did once. About to fly through some traffic because I don't care. No, I'm not that lazy, but the whatchamacallit of the situation is that we do have a bunch of traffic that's simulated, and I'm just going too fast. Now, I'm curious as to whether or not the computer's going to do anything. Ah, cool. You know what I could probably do? I could probably do a speed override. Where's the override? There's auto throttle. Oh, duh. It's because I'm using VNav. You goofball. Okay, we'll tell you what. We'll take flaps 1, and we'll give the traffic some distance. I didn't know that would. You didn't know that Darth Vader would translate? Apparently it does. And this is downtown LA. So There we go. We are gonna probably shortcut this dude, and we're gonna go down to our approach. I believe I picked flaps 25 for the approach. Yes, so we're going to be 150. And we need to be at what altitude at Livin? Livin is going to be 6,000. Okay, that makes sense now. That's why we're not descending. Okay, other than those hilariously incongruent traffic incursions, we're doing okay. Do I have any traffic on the inbound? There is one other plane, which we're going to be passing off to our 2 o'clock shortly. Let me do a little bit of traffic spotting. Can't see them. Unless they're already way below us. No, I don't think that's the case. Where are we? Yeah, so about... Oh, okay. I'm probably looking in the wrong direction. It's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Don't see them. Eh. Oh, well. Yeah, I think 180 is pretty good for approaching the ILS. Now, we do have somebody coming into the conga line as well out here, so I don't know what it's going to look like when we actually tag in. I don't know. I'm not sure. Gotta say, I do not mind being an FS2020 tonight. I'm just gonna be straight up about it. Like, it's really enjoyable. Tonight, FS2020 is cool, and FS2024 is drama. Next planned stream for me is probably going to be something like, if not this coming Saturday or this Friday, quite possibly this coming Sunday. In fact, I would probably say, with a fair degree of confidence, that's probably what's going to work out better. Because I don't know if I've got family time coming up. So it is possible it can happen on a Saturday, but right now I'm not expecting it to. Now, again, we are coming into Livin, and Livin was 6,000. So I think now that we're tapping in to Livin, I'm going to go ahead and activate approach mode once we lock in. There we go. We've got glide slope. there's the other aircraft. Howdy. Alright, give me approach mode. Alright, LNAV localizer, VNAV PAV. And there we are. There's downtown LA. And there's LAX. Oh yeah, dipping in. Let's go. Alright, let's go. Give me 170. Flaps 10. Even 160. Thanks, Kev. Do 155. What are we looking at for traffic? Okay, we've got, let's see, 12-mile final. Flaps 15, and gear down. Here we go. Actually, I'm pretty good for airspeed at this point. Let's do flap 17, 18, 20, and 25. Alright, chat, we're dialed in. 2,500 winds from the northwest at 2. Yeah, 150 is fine. 1000 stable. Winds are shifting a bit. My aircraft. $500. My throttles. And we're landing. All right, there we go. Wonderful. Reverse green. Speed brakes up. Auto brake disarm. And flaps up. Welcome to LAX, everybody. I am definitely pleased with that, all things considered. All right, now, do we have anybody coming in? Nope. replay. Unfortunately not explain 12, and I didn't actually start the replay cam, so I won't be able to show that, but it was definitely an enjoyable experience for me. Where are we? Whiskey. So, Whiskey cross 24 left. And turn left on probably Echo, right on Papa. Begging forks on table. That's hilarious. I get the checklist. Get this thing happy. Come on. Checklist over. We landed already. We're good. Okay, good. That's fine. All right. So the homework for me is going to be most likely reseeding the AIG traffic back into the sim, and then possibly reinstalling FS2 crew for the 736 because I like flying the 737-600 in FS2020, and I do not have the funds to fly it in FS2024 at the moment. But again, I have a working sim, so I'm not going to complain about that. And LAX here, it looks good, yo. Actually, let me change my mind. I think I'm going to park up at the other terminal. Hang on. That's, let's see, 1, 2, 3 turns from now. So 2 turns from now. I'm not turning that way. I'm going to let the Delta go down its own taxiway. All things considered, I'm really happy I had a smooth landing at AnyBuild's LAX, considering the kind of loading that's going on right now. I'm happy. Now, what I could probably do is turn on my APU. Give me a bit. I'm in the land of deltas. Okay. Good stuff. APU should be spinning up shortly. Yep. Live traffic's kind of busy today. Good. All in all, I didn't hop back into the sim and go, "Ugh, the graphics are so horrible. Ugh." No, the graphics look good. It it motivates me so much more now to want to fly the A310 and to fly the 736 again. I think I also still have the Virtual Call 175 installed. I'll double check. I mean, when I uninstalled P3D, I got, like I said, 320 gigs of space back, so I was able to install a whole bunch of stuff in its stead. So I'm not going to complain. I'm very pleased. Time is it right now? It's almost 6:30. Wow. Crazy. Now, I will say, if I flew into LAX in X-Plane 12, I think I'd just be like, oh, the haze, the atmospheric effects, the clouds. I'm a fan of X-Plane 12. I will say I like it a lot. But I like being able to ping pong back and forth between flight sims. I think this is what makes my experience as enjoyable as it does. Are any of those sims perfect? Not by a long shot. Every single one of them has its issues. But I will say I've definitely enjoyed flying as a result. So pulling in here feels way more like a victory lap and way less like a Could I have done better in other ways? Of course I can. But that's a story for another stream. Yeah, we're pretty close to center line. I think 787 is like the third from the end. Yeah, it wasn't that far off. Okay. Parking brake set. Let's go ahead and lock it down. So let's see. APU is running. At least it was. Hang on. Systems. Yeah, APU is running right now. So, cool. External lights are off. Let's go ahead and power this thing down. And there we go. Roughly 1 hour and 25-minute block time, I think. I forget. Oof. Those engines powering down are wonderful. Okay. And let's get the electrics turned on. And that should do it. And there we go, the actual jetway is connecting. Wonderful. But my immersion. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LAX. Local time is evening flight o'clock, and we are enjoying ourselves as our passengers disembark. Nice flight. Does prove that the Horizon Sim is squarely functional and quite enjoyable. Next flight, I think I'm probably going to take the A310 out for a spin and actually try to learn it. And yeah, model matching back, maybe FS2 crew back for the 737, and maybe some semblance of a return to form. Again, follow me on Discord. Follow me on Discord. The people that are in my Discord will see my updates. Yes, I I treat Discord invites kind of like the Disney Vault. So I set up I set up prime people up for when I basically say okay you can join now. I'm I'm a bit of a persnickety person like that, but I'm having fun with it. But yeah, on Discord I will clue you guys in as to what possible next streams are going to be. Otherwise, I think either expect one, not expect one, either the best guess for me is probably going to be Sunday or Saturday. I don't know. I don't know. It really does depend on stuff, but again, there's stuff that I have to figure out right now. Did I leave anything else running? I don't remember. I think we're good otherwise. Bye bye. That's dope. What else is running right now? Not much. Now go back to Devon and be happy with your new, stronger audio. Amazing. Because louder volume is good, yo. And yes, my mic levels are living in the yellow right now, even as we speak. So it's not as quiet as it always was, and I think when I go back to VODs that I export, I'm gonna be like, wow, there's a difference between the two. But I'm good. FS2020 still has a sauce. I'm really happy about that. I'm going to turn off lossless scaling because we're done. I don't want to necessarily tax my CPU too much. Nah, man. Leftovers for me tonight and prep for tomorrow. Maybe a little bit of sprite art later. And we will see what's up. Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, baby steps. So we'll uh, we'll see. I will see what the outcome of that is, and maybe some gaming to chill. Folks, again, thank you so much for tuning in today. Appreciate having all of you around. I certainly privileged to have you hanging out with me while I flew a fake plane, and definitely would like things to be in a better place soon, Yahweh permitting. But I'm gonna do my best to do my best and keep learning and keep growing through my experience and through my IRL work. Hopefully that means that we will be in a better place for some interesting and more chill, more relaxed content. And I would say otherwise, again, I don't know if the next stream for a flight is going to be 2024 or 2020. This left a pretty good impression on me. Like I said, I uninstalled every single world update that I had, and I flew from SFO to LAX, and it wasn't like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely horrible. I don't know. Take care, Kev. You're making me crazy. Hello, my friend. We just pulled into to LAX. We were flying the Horizon Sim 787-900 with the GE engines, and we flew out of San Francisco. We did a quick flight. We've had a chat, caught up about a bunch of stuff, and this is the tail end of the holiday weekend for me. So basically, at this point, you know, next several nights are going to be normal things, normal flow, and then we'll see what the weekend brings. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the 787. I wouldn't have bothered flying FS2020 almost at all if it wasn't for the fact that I was jonesing for a good 78X flight. And let's see, we should have, there we go, we have the people's going into the terminal. This is the Indie Builds LAX scenery that was graciously given to me by means of me winning a giveaway. I don't fly into LAX nearly as much as I should to enjoy it, and I will say it's the approach was lovely. The scenery is amazing. I I've never been to LAX IRL. The furthest west I've gone is uh, is Alaska, but the furthest west I've gone in the contiguous U.S. is Seattle to make a connecting flight to Alaska on a trip from years ago. So I I don't have any plans to visit LA, but I mean, maybe one of these days I might. I'm potentially going to be going out to Vegas for a developer conference, so I don't know what that's going to bring in terms of travel plans. I do know that I do like to fly fake planes to real places. So, what that means for me and FS 2024, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to make scenery for it, just like I'm trying to finish up my scenery for FS 2020. You saw my update in the Discord Scenery Projects channel where I'm going back to work on Lafayette Regional. I'm probably going to work on that more this week and maybe make some plans to start dipping into more scenery development in other ways. So stay tuned for that. place that is extremely far, extremely far west. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Seattle is basically touching the Atlantic, the Pacific Ocean, but in terms of me actually visiting the town, no. Alaska was great. Great salmon, great people, great salmon. Um, yeah, yeah. I'd like to go back to Alaska one day and just enjoy it. I have one of my friends is going to be traveling to Santa Monica in the next month, month and a half, and they have somebody they're going to hook up with for some music work. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I kind of do hope I go to the Dev conference in 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 Vegas. And if I don't go, I don't go. But again, I'm just I'm two kind of ways about it. But okay, let's get real here. In terms of flight simming, in terms of flight simming, the next big thing I want to do is fly the A310, I think, unless I, chicken out and decide to go fly the 787 again because I like it so much, which is probably what's going to happen. But the A310 is a plane that I think I'd like to pick up and fly more, especially if I try to do any transcontinental or transatlantic hops, like Air Transat out of Montreal to, say, Paris or Lyon or something like that. And I think that would be cool, but I also want to focus way more on scenery dev. So he said, "Boo." Well, man, there's some things going on there. First off, the conference will be, on the company dime because I definitely do not have the money to attend in person. I don't. Just gonna be straight up. And, you know, expo, airfare, accommodations, food fund, and basically slush money. So it is definitely one of those things where I'm basically like, yeah, I'm gonna need to have a lot of money to go in the first place. And you know, it's not something that I have the ability to do. What are these for again? Oh, of course, because when you come in on an international trip, you're going to be going to customs somewhere. That's right. That's right. No, 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 not paying for any of that. Um, I would be if Mrs. Digi comes along for the business trip, but no. That's the only reason I'm even remotely considering Vegas. If that was the case, it's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going. Bye. So, it's what it is. But yeah, like me paying for a trip to Vegas, not on the cards. Not at all. Yeah, yeah. So that's basically the case. Um, yeah, friends, uh, friends, Romans, countrymen. No. Um, again, stay tuned to Discord, live chats, updates, side projects, all good things, and basically the plan for the next probably couple of weeks. Again, if I do a flight tonight, it's definitely off stream, and just like an arcadey FS2020, go grab the default A320 in Airbus liver in Orbit Airlines livery, and just have it running in the background while like I file through some paperwork, I guess. But let me also for the sake of the public that wonders, why does Digi not want to fly on VATSIM anymore? Let me also take a few seconds to address the elephant in the room. Yes, I do like flying on VATSIM. I think it's a great part of the experience. I think what I'll probably try to do is do some off stream flights during the week whenever I can, even if it's nothing more than, a 45-minute to hour and 15-minute flight. Kind of like this one was. It's just that I'm really trying to dial into the times of day where those things are really good. So, all good. All good. Um, that's going to do it for me. Folks, it has been a genuine privilege having all of you aboard with me while we revisited FS 2020 and had a great time flying the Horizon Sim 787-900. I will probably try to take the Kuro 787-800 out at some point in the near future. Maybe even doing some pretend fakey do ops from like Seattle or Ketchikan up to Fairbanks in the 788 because I do have an Alaska Airlines livery for it, or maybe some SFO to Portland ops. And yes, I do have an unofficially official world tour going on. I landed at Rio a little while ago, and I think the next step for me is probably either to go to Buenos Aires or to go to Chile before I hook a right and fly back up South America into Central America. Kev, much love to you and your family. Love your soul, my friend. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Thanks to everybody else that stopped in. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that really is Jesus Christ. Folks, have a great night and a great rest of your week up ahead. I pray that it is a very successful one for you. I pray the same for me because life is epic these days, and I want to rise to the occasion. Take care, my friends. God bless you, and until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.